Hello everyone, it's Andy Glenn here, welcoming you all to another podcast. This week it's Martin Grubb and Craig Peacock. Hello guys, how you doing?
Good, Andy, how are you?
I'm doing great. Craig,
All
how
good
are you?
here, thank you, Andy. All good.
Good. Well, it's been a great week, hasn't it? We've all enjoyed the weekend, 4-point weekend, and even as the celebrations were still continuing on Sunday night, folk were saying, can't wait for Coach's Corner. So there's a highlight that we're going to get to in a wee while. But how's the mood been in the players since the weekend's results?
Yeah, good. Like obviously the players, as we all know, they got exactly what they deserved over the weekend. They deserved to let their hair down a little bit at the shirt handover after the game, and no doubt that some of them enjoyed the rest of their evening, which was the right thing to do after a busy weekend. But and Craig will be able to tell you obviously more for that player's point of view. But straight back to work. You get a Monday off, and you get straight back to work on the Tuesday, because already, as you know from our chats, we were already focusing on this weekend coming. So it was nice to see them. Nice to see them be able to obviously let their hair down and almost kind of just celebrate their work of the weekend. But in my head, certainly from a coaching point of view, we've moved on already to the weekend.
How was it for you, Craig? Because from a fan's perspective, we're still enjoying the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as Martin said, we enjoyed the victories after the weekend and after Sunday there, and got to spend some time with the fans as well after the game, handing over the shirts back, and boys had a few pops and enjoyed themselves. But even as players, the focus shifts quite quickly, and everybody obviously came back to work Tuesday for our practice there, and we've learned our lesson, hopefully, from the past, that we know it can't just be one good weekend. We've got to follow it up with another one here. So, everyone's been focused on what we've got ahead of us this coming weekend.
How do you keep that belief, that momentum going?
I think it's been building for us as a group so far. We showed in glimpses that we're good and we compete, but I think this weekend, I've heard Martin say it already, it was a bit of a coming out party for us. We played against two really good teams and had arguably the worst travel you could probably ask for, getting back to your bed at 5 a.m, but we didn't use it as an excuse, and we came out on Sunday. So the challenge for us now is to maintain that, and as players, we've challenged ourselves to that, and the coaches obviously. That was the strong message on Tuesday at practice was, okay, we've had a good weekend, but, it doesn't really mean much if we don't go out and perform this weekend coming.
I mean, I was kind of going to make that point because it was such a difficult 2 games last weekend. I think most of the league wouldn't maybe not have expected us to get 4 points, and that we'd have probably been up to prove them wrong. I can understand that mentality. This week, it's a different kind of challenge. We've never played Peterborough yet. I'm interested to know how, we're going to be trying just as hard.
I think that's the thing, right? You have to now. I think the discussion we had post-game from Sunday night was that we've set a minimum standard now. I think we tried to do that after the 4-point weekend of Raiders and Bees. Then the Hull performance, we all agreed, was a good one. But, we never quite hit the heights since that Hull game. And I think the weekend there, both nights, we executed pretty much exactly how we wanted to. We showed character. I mean, let's not forget, we were 2 goals down in Swindon or in Cardiff with less than 10 minutes to play, where, again, probably even in the home bench, people thought that game was over when we went down. So we've showed character this weekend. We've showed our ability, both on the puck and away for the puck. I think we've blocked more shots this weekend. Our penalty kill was better. Our discipline was fantastic. And again, I think where credit's due to the officials over the weekend. I thought especially on Saturday night that they allowed the players of both teams to decide how the game would be played and who won that game. So, I think the key message, Andy, is we're learning. We're learning every week. Back to back against Swindon, we had to learn. And we had to get better for that game. Milton Keynes, I actually thought we did pretty well in Milton Keynes. They're a top team, and we only got beat 5-3. Jordan Headley, their goalie, made some big saves for them. We got down a bit early and put ourselves behind the 8 ball a little bit, where, again, we learned. We got better. We moved forward. So the message now, as Craig said, coming back into practice is a couple of things. One is hard work, and second is just consistency now. You got to find that standard that we set at the weekend has got to be consistent. And if we can find a way to play consistently for 120 minutes every weekend, there's no reason why we can't be as dangerous as any other team in this league.
Do you think it was the penalty-free game that made the difference against Swindon, or was it more than that?
I think it was more than that. I mean, obviously it helps massively. We started, and I don't think there was a whistle for nine minutes. It's funny. Craig and I and John Dunbar were talking about that before the game, where I think we like the bigger ice a little bit more. We've built a team that can skate. We like some time on the puck, which I guess all our skilled players do. And I think the rink in Cardiff suited us. It was something new for some guys as well. Only 3 or 4 guys had played there, so there was a bit of excitement. But just really, buying in and executing and trusting not only themselves but each other, and allowing us just to focus solely on us. Forget the officials, forget the opponents. Know what we needed to do to be better. I think that just allowed us to settle really quickly, fill ourselves full of confidence. And I say, even at 4-2, the bench, 2 or 3 guys, Craig, myself, Jamie, I think Struan and Liam were another 2 that as soon as there was 3 or 4 voices of we're okay here, for once you actually believed it, and the players themselves believed it. Shoulders were still up, chest was out, and we never gave up. And I think Sunday, as we said, we got back late, yes. We travel well. We got executive coaches that go up and down that road, so the boys slept. They rested. That was one of the differences as well. They rested. They were ready to go. And we just did what was needed. Milton Keynes are a good team as well. Obviously, they're second place. They got a lot of depth, but I think over the weekend it was just us focusing on us. Discipline obviously had a huge part of it. Special teams, let's not forget the other side. We've been on this podcast as well discussing the power play. 2 out of 4 on the Sunday was power play goals. We got 1 on the Saturday. Our power play is getting better. Our penalty kill was good. Special teams plays a huge part for us.
You've listed a whole lot of things that I need to go back and ask questions about there. It was really good. I thought you talk about executive coaches. Do you think that makes a difference, the quality of the travel, the stuff that you guys are on? Because you heard Milton Keynes after the game, their coach saying it was bus legs, and it seemed a bit strange because we travelled probably further than them and got in at, what time did you get in at again? 5 o'clock or something like that?
Probably 5 by the time people got to bed, unpacked the rink. And
do these little things make a difference?
As a player, yeah, obviously, I mean, we're lucky enough that our owners are looking after us in that manner, and that we have a nice bus to travel on, and they, we take meals on the bus for the boys and stuff as well. So, I think for us as well is over the course of this season, obviously it's still early, and we are doing some really long travel, which is new to some guys on this team, and I think they're now learning how to deal with that. But I mean, Martin preached on it before the game on Sunday. We're not going to use it as an excuse. Did MK use an excuse? Maybe, I don't know. But we have the worst travel in the league. I don't care what anyone says. 100%. They only have to come up here a couple of times, 3 at the most, where we're doing these long trips every weekend, but we're never going to use that as an excuse. And like I say, the boys are learning how to deal with it, and it's just about how you manage it. Martin said it. Guys were resting. Guys are trying to sleep, and just taking that time to relax and think about the game and what's ahead of you. And then after the game, it's important. You take on water, you get a meal in you, and you just try and get some sleep if you can. And then we get home at whatever time it is, and again you rest and you come to the rink ready to go, and it's just part of being a hockey player. So like I say, the boys are learning how to deal with it, and we're starting to see that in the weekend's performances. Doing
it right. From what we can pick up in the performances. The other thing was that we did play that game in Cardiff really, really well, and with 10 minutes to go, it was 4-2 to the Wildcats. Perhaps at the start of the season, when the team maybe wasn't as bonded as it was, we might have just said, well, we played for 40 minutes or 50 minutes, and it just wasn't, luck didn't go our way. From a player's perspective, Craig, was the real belief on that ice that we were going to go on and win that game?
Yeah, I felt, as a player, I didn't feel we were ever in danger at any point in that game. Obviously, the scoreline kind of went the way it did, but even when they went 4-2 up at that point and Martin touching it, guys on the bench, nobody dropped and nobody's heads went down. And there was the belief of, we are okay, we're going to get this back. And you, as a player, you can sense when you're playing well and you know that you're in the game and if you just stick to the process, keep doing what you're doing, you're going to get rewarded for it. We managed to tie up the game, and then I think once we had done that, we didn't want it to go to overtime. We wanted to get it done before overtime, and there was a real belief on the bench and all the guys on the ice that was what was going to happen. You just get that vibe sometimes as a player, and that was that's how I felt on Saturday, that we just weren't going to lose that game at any point.
When it was getting to the end of the game, and you're saying that you were wanting to get it sorted within regulation. When I was watching it on stream, it kind of felt very much like Swindon didn't want to lose the game. They wanted a point and then do it in overtime. Do you think that was the difference then?
If you look at Aaron's interview after the game, for anybody that's seen it, I think it might just be on the Wildcats social medias. But the first thing that struck me was similar. His comments were about as we were preparing for overtime. Now, as Craig's just said, we were never preparing for overtime. We would prepare for overtime when we get there. And we'll see it later. They'll probably be disappointed. They had the puck on their stick twice. We continued to force and play our system and make them make a couple of mistakes. And then obviously we got the rush. Obviously Craig loses an edge and sticks his stick out. Doing him a disservice, obviously, but Donny makes a great pass. Craig goes to the net hard. They knew exactly what they were doing, and I think the quality surprised Swindon at that stage. That there's 15 seconds to go and we're still pushing. Quality goal there. They call their timeout. We're not going to divulge our secrets here, but we had a little chat about the face-off and what he was going to do, and that's probably the one you could say played out to perfection. 5 seconds later it ends up in the net, and we get what we deserve. But I don't think at any point we in our heads thought, let's not lose, let's prepare for overtime. It was, let's play to the 60, let's play exactly to 60 and see what happens. If it's a point, we'll play for bonus. If it's 2 points, then great. Obviously you're never wanting to lose the game, and yeah, I agree, I don't think we ever felt we were going to, but we certainly were going all out to make sure we finished strong, and that was the case.
It's really interesting insight. All this, I hope everybody at home's enjoying it and learning a few things. And if you are, please do like, share and subscribe the video. It's really important to us. I'm not going to go on about it too much this week, but you know what you've got to do. Did you hear the fans that made the trip down there? I mean, on the ice, Craig, did you hear the fans? Because they've been putting a bit of an effort to get down there and come back and all the rest of it. So fair play to them for going down, the ones that managed to get down. Did you hear them?
Oh, yeah, we can hear them. And, the fact that they make that effort to go so far, it's so far for us to go as players to go play a game. So, the fact that they travel and support us and they bring all their flags and they make those corners for us. And, they didn't stop the whole night. We could hear them the whole night. And, we appreciate that as players when you have your own supporters traveling up and down the length of the UK to come and watch you play. You want to make sure you put on a good performance and send them home happy. And, we say it as players, it makes the bus ride a lot easier if you're going home with 2 points. So I'm sure it's the same for the fans. But yeah, we could hear them. And obviously when we scored that winner and, the extra one there to give us the cushion right at the end of the game, they were loud and we could definitely hear them.
That's great to hear. Which of the two games, the Saturday night, the Sunday night, was your favourite? Because they were both brilliant games.
Thought as a spectacle, and even watching it back, I thought Saturday night's game was a better game. Probably as a neutral, it was more open. It was free flowing. To say that, that first 9 minutes, it was not even a whistle. But as a coach, I think Sundays is a bigger statement. No disrespect to Swindon, but I think coming back on everything we've discussed, the travel, the fact Milton Keynes were sitting second place, still looking to stay level in the top with Leeds, and to be honest, even analysing. They had a lot of possession. They had a big power play with, I think, 4 minutes to go. We had to kill. So there was a lot of elements on this Sunday that were really pleasing and just showed, as I say, a bit more of our character and our resilience, but also our quality. I thought our quality over the weekend was more like Sharks hockey. So it'd be tough to pick out a favourite. There's different elements of both that are there for one reason or another. I guess the favourite part is the buzzer on the Sunday night, which makes sure you've got 4 points. And as I said on the post game, and still say it now, is the most pleasing thing was the fans get the 4 point weekend they crave, but the players got the rewards that they deserved.
Yeah, bench cam was pretty cool. I quite liked that.
So I believe, yeah.
Yeah, you've not seen it? It's pretty good. Craig, which was your favourite game?
Well, I mean, selfishly, I'll probably have to say the Swindon one just for the last 15 seconds, but
there was a highlight there, wasn't there?
Yeah. But no, I mean, Martin kind of touched on it there. Like, obviously, as a player too, and being around a while, I think Sunday showed that we can win in a different manner as well. And he said, like Martin said, they had a lot of possession, but I don't think we gave up many grade A scoring chances, which showed, as a team we can deal. On the Sunday we're a little bit tired, maybe you're a bit banged up after the game the day before, but we stuck to our structure and we did what it took to win. So, there were two completely different styles of hockey. So the fact that we won both the games in completely different manners, to me as a player, was really pleasing to see for our group. That we're learning, we're growing all the time, and we're finding different ways to win. No matter what the situation is on any given night.
I thought both games showed tremendous character. That was just the thing that came through to me. It was the character of the team, and you were just really proud to be a Shark.
Yeah, I just think we finally, like we both said this on here today and throughout the last few days, we trusted each other. We finally, I think the players that had maybe not played at this level or above before just finally realised that we really do belong here. We're good enough. We're not here, to make things up. We're not here just to accept. We discuss a lot about our values and our culture, and we're not here to just accept defeat. I think also the players are obviously really proud, and Craig touched on it when you do hear your fans travelling and see them the length and breadth of the country. And it's another thing we as coaches and players discuss of just making them proud. Playing with a bit of pride, and there's a bit of everything in there. Certainly character, ability, class, but there's a lot of pride in both these performances in the weekend, and I think it's nice to see as an organisation everybody being able to kind of enjoy that a little bit.
I would suggest that the noise in the Ice Bowl on Sunday was probably the greatest we've heard this season. Have you heard it louder ever, Martin?
Everybody always goes back to the Manchester game, 94, I think it was. Kind of famous night for us here, to be honest, unbelievable. But, as it's always Sharks, I don't know, I don't think so. I think that the fact that the performance meant so much, people are going to say, and they're probably not wrong, but it's only a regular season game, it's only 2 points, it's early in the season. There is all these things, but when you're any team, but especially as everybody else keeps reminding us outside this club, we're the new boys. And when you have that kind of weekend and you make these kind of statements, you have to celebrate them and you have to realise that you're moving forward. And just, that camaraderie between the players and the fans, and it's growing, and they've had their frustrations, and I've preached on here every week saying be patient. The players are obviously trying to win for the fans, for they guys, and including Saturday night for both nights to see it kind of come to fruition. It's just pleasing. It's pleasing for everybody. I say players deserved it, fans deserved it, organisation for ownership all the way down deserved it. But the big but is that was just one weekend, and it was last weekend. Now we've got to do this every week. Yep,
absolutely. Craig, you any thoughts on it?
No, I mean, everything Martin said there is so accurate, and touching back on the noise levels, I think as a player, and obviously it's my first year playing, here in Dumfries for Solway. That was probably one of the loudest I've heard it in there. And, you know, as a player, it's great when the crowd's like that. You know, it really gets behind you, and especially if, you know, you are a little bit tired, and we were hanging on to a 1-goal lead there for the last 5 minutes, but the crowd don't stop making noise. Like, it just gives you a little boost in your step and that push that you need maybe sometimes to get over the line. And, you know, that's important as a player. So if we're getting that support, you know, away and especially at home, and, you know, we keep seeing the numbers grow and it get louder and louder every week, you know, hopefully as a team, and we'll keep putting on those performances and keep giving them reasons to cheer.
It was really loud and it was really exciting at the end. I mean, it wouldn't have been really exciting if one of the officials hadn't stopped the shot going into the empty net, but we'll not even mention that, will we? The bit that everybody's been waiting on for this week, though, Martin, is Coach's Corner, where we're going to talk through some of the highlights of the weekend. So I'll hand over to you, and Craig, please do chip in with your expertise, because we really want to hear about those goals at the end of the Swindon game as well, don't we?
Well, there might be a couple of clips that involve.
There might be a couple of clips. Good.
I guess we can hear what was going through Craig's mind at that stage as well.
Superb.
But yeah, I mean, we start with it was Saturday night, and I actually haven't looked back on Instat. I'm not sure if this shows Swindon's first goal here on the replay or not. I think it actually might show a play before that.
Just before,
it's a courtesy save where, you know, we'll keep it in there.
Wasn't it? It was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think it just shows these guys. We just lost a guy on this one.
That save reminded me of remember the Leeds one at the back door when Gospel got his hand to it?
Yeah.
Similar.
And then obviously we come back into this. It's a cleaner exit than we've had. Scotty drives the guy wide. Nolan makes up some ground, and you know, I guess you probably don't get any better finishes right in that top corner. It was a really nice finish. Then it goes back and forward. And this one's, when I watch it back, it's a little bit disappointing because we make a really good set face-off play. Puck's on our stick at one end. I actually think here we're in a good spot. Liam gets caught kind of just trying to cut the play off. Not really doing anything wrong. The guy makes a nice play on the short side, and we get stung on one. But again, just like that game, we go back and forward. We're patient. We get a power play here. You can see us. You know, we're just moving the puck now. Olivier makes a little bump back. Then he's really patient. A little drop of the shoulder sends the guy out and has to pay to get back in.
I said to you before, that was just a brilliant goal, wasn't it? Loved
Great
it.
screen.
Quality finish. And then again, we're I thought we're in a good spot here. Our D zone was decent. We force them again behind the play. You know, we stop it here, and we just need to switch a little. Our middle guy Craig, you can see in 71 here, he's coming back into exactly where he should be. Kieran needs to just pull out a little bit to Tyler Plews, the guy that actually scores here on the what we call the strong side point. And we just get burnt by that. So it's that one was a wee bit disappointing in terms of little breakdowns, but on a positive side, they're easily fixed. So we can work on that. This one we were up ice. We were hunting. We were aggressive. We maybe get caught. It's a little bit stationary on the forecheck there. It kind of goes across. We make the first save, and you can't give a guy like Malazinski that kind of time. And it's like you said before, at this stage everybody thought, game over. When you're 2 goals down. But we keep hunting, you know, we stay aggressive, we have a slash guy, which, you know, Craig comes across there. Really good pass. Again, done his hands in close. Walks and sticks that upstairs on the short side. And that probably there, quite quickly, getting back to 4-3 gave us belief. We win the face-off, and you'll see here actually we're short for a second because Craig stick breaks in the face-off there. I think it maybe helps us now as Nolan comes back in, and Stents probably doesn't shoot enough.
A great shot.
But yeah, I had eyes the whole way. We get ourselves back. Now, this one is us. I think this is us in a nutshell now. They have it on their stick. You know, we stick to our structure. We force it across. They've still got it. But like we said earlier, both Craig and I, we're not right here even. we're not accepting overtime. And they think, I think Bebris is the guy on Craig, and he's probably looking, he's bigger, he's got a longer stick. They're looking, going, you know what, we've got five guys back in the zone.
He's looking directly at you there, Craig, as well, isn't he?
Against our three. This is just a bit of class within the ability to read the game, where if you watch it, he goes just inside, off his shoulder, stick on the ice, which you teach for the very first step of on the ice, kids. Get your stick on the ice. Dunny finds it, cracking finish.
When did you realise, Craig, that the puck was going to go to that side as opposed to cutting back into it?
You can kind of see as I'm skating in there, I've got a decision to make whether I'm going to go to the back post or the front post, and I know. I just know what Dunny's going to do. I know he's going to float a pass in there and it's probably going to be going towards the front post. So I know if I can get a step on that guy, which is what I did, he ties me up a little bit. So it was obviously a bit of desperation in reaching out. But, you know, when there's 15 seconds left in the game, Martin said it was kind of all us. We were all brave in the neutral zone there, and we stood them up and turned the puck over on the red line, and then we turned and went the other way, and it was a case of, you know, we've got a chance here to finish it. But for me, I had to make that decision. I know Dunny's a good enough player that he's going to put the puck somewhere towards the net, but it's more likely I'm going to score if I can manage to get myself to that front post, which is why I come across him at the front angle, and it all worked out, and we went home happy.
But both you and John had fantastic games, didn't you? You really did. I mean, the whole team had a great game, but you were on fire there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've played with Dunny for, you know, coming up to 2 years now, so we've managed to build up a lot of chemistry. But I mean, it obviously wasn't just about us two. I think, you know, this weekend showed how strong a team we are. You know, so even going into the Sunday game, across the whole weekend, we had scoring from everywhere, and everybody contributing. So, you know, if we can do that and bring that to the team, obviously it's going to help. So we'll be happy when we do. But yeah, you know, Dunny's a great player, and he's going to make some great plays. You just got to try and get to the right spot.
Yeah, and I think we said this here. They called a timeout. We never spoke too much about our general play. Craig and I had a conversation. It went as simply as, where do you want me to win it? Backwards or forwards? We won't tell you the logic behind what we did for obvious reasons, but we knew what we were doing straight away. You see when the video rolls that, you know, we get a wee bit of fortune because Russ Cowley gets that 1-1 and he's a wee bit scared. They back off the line. He wins it forward, and obviously seals the deal with the empty net goal. And you know, we get exactly what we deserve. But on a set play, you know, people could say, oh, well, you know, they had no goalie, or they took a risk. That I think Aaron done the right thing. There was 15 seconds to go, but a lot of teams would have just tied up there and just literally said, let's tie up, force them to dump, or see if there's a little bit of scrimmage in the neutral zone. But you know, as I say, we had that chat of, let's just go seal this. Here's our set.
Took control of the game, didn't you?
Here's how we think they're going to play. And, you know, you've still got to remember, I think a less experienced head, even on that empty net, or when Aaron now steps forward, may just chip that deep and think, right, there's 9 seconds to go, that's it over. A less experienced head snatches at the puck, and there's still a chance that you miss the empty net there. You've got to put it in the net and make sure the game's over. So, you know, as much as people will say, well, it was a face-off win, it's an empty net, Craig deserves that credit for executing the face-off win, stepping by Aaron and putting it in the net, because you've still got to do that, no matter what. And it just, as I say, it just showed a lot of experience, and you can see by the players' reactions, and anybody that was there or watched the stream will have seen a bit more than this little clip. But you know, as a whole bench, there was... I don't think it was, you know, some people would say it's relief when you get there, but I don't think it was any relief. I just think everybody knew this was going to happen. When we got to 4-4, we believed, and it was nice to see the players being able to celebrate that with a couple of goal cushion rather than kind of squeaking a 1-goal game. So, yes, we've been really happy with that. Obviously, we come back in and we got to play a few hours after we get home. And Sunday was, we discussed earlier, it was a zero excuse game. It was we know the standard we're at. We know what we have to do. And yeah, can we make a statement now? If we can turn this into, I mean, we've had 3 opportunities to have 4-point weekends. We executed the first one with an overtime goal in Slough against the Bees. Obviously, the second one got curtailed for obvious reasons.
It's postponed.
And then this was our only other chance. So I think the one thing you could say about this team is when they get a little chance when they almost, I guess you can use a Sharks analogy of when they smell blood, like that's us. We just need that little bit of confidence. And this was a big one. You know, you see right early doors again. We've discussed in the past our special teams. We discussed up in this in the pre-game meeting how aggressive they would be. We've looked and we've talked about net presence. We had 2 there, and then we've discussed Nolan's role as what we'd call a pop guy. He's popped down, he's been found and walked out. And I thought that was a great goal. Really, really good goal.
He's been really good just messing about at the crease on power plays and all.
He's growing
the
into the game every week. And we knew Milton Keynes would come back at us. You know, Tim Wallace walks in there. That shot, probably 9 times out of 10, Curtis does the right thing. It probably hits the back net, but it kind of fumbles a little bit in front of him, and they stick it in the net. Then again, we talked over the weekend about our character. You know, they had a bit of pressure on us here. Scotty, who again I think's been growing into this, opens up his legs, good shot, go to the net again. As Craig said earlier about the different kinds of wins, we did discuss about sometimes you can score ugly goals. It doesn't have to be pretty all the time. And I think we showed that. It was always going to be back and forward. We knew there would always be a little bit of pushback. I think this one, we're on the PK. It's literally just ended as they crossed that red line. We try and get back in. You know, I think we could be better. We'll stick a little bit on the gap control, but take nothing away for them. It's a decent finish. Then we were probably at a stage where it would have been easy to accept, you know, if we go in 2-2, that's okay. You win a period, you win a game. But we go back in special teams. You know, we spread the puck east-west. Again, Dunny goes to the net at that stage where a skilled guy in some teams doesn't go there. He scored one the week before on Kersey's shot where he stuffed it in at the back door. So he's went to the net. It's just sitting there. Scotty sees it and makes sure no matter what it's going over the line. So we've executed better. We've decided that rather than accepting a tied game going into the last, much like the night before, you know, we want to score. We've got a chance to score. We want to score. And I mean, Craig will tell you that from a player's point of view, we go in at the end of the second. Like, there's no secret. Any team would be the same. We were tired. But we just discussed winning a period of hockey and having that opportunity to execute on a 4-point weekend. And for there, it's all down to the players, right? They've got to show some heart. They've got to show that they've got to fight for things and that pride that we discussed, and they go out and execute now. It's as simple as that on a last period. They have to show that they want to win a period of hockey to win a game.
I sense there's a difference because you said in the previous night's game there was never really a doubt. Was there a doubt in this one?
I don't think it was a doubt. In my mind, I think again, Craig alluded to this earlier.
You're confident you were going to win that all the way through?
I would say this part here, this goal was probably the turning point also for me. I think every time they came back, we got ahead. And that was key for us. We hadn't done that. Yeah. We said just before we left the room, we said, get the first goal. You get the first goal of the third period. If we can get that 2-goal cushion, the game changes.
Yeah.
We also then discussed that they would have a huge pushback. We knew they would. They had to. But then they would leave holes and they would get a little bit desperate, like any team does. And it would have to, I mean, the saying that, and it's not just us, it's every team in the world use it, but we could bend, but we couldn't break.
Right.
That's where we were. Players blocked shots, players' sticks were in lanes, players chip pucks deep. I think there was a couple of plays actually where we took an icing and reset on a face-off where, you know, even probably a week to 2 weeks ago, some of these plays end up in our net. And the players themselves were the ones driving that. Jamie can give them instruction, but they have to go and believe it and execute it. And there was definitely a switch in our mindset of, we are not losing this game, as opposed to, we'll see what happens if they get one back.
And that's what I was meaning earlier on about the character. You could sense it in this game really coming through.
100%. Oh, and we get to the start of this third period. Again, it's an exit. For me, just decides to play a little bit here, but Arcee's coming up ice. Mac's all over him.
Yeah.
Probably a penalty there. We get nothing. But, even a week or two ago, we might have complained about that. Craig gets the puck on the half wall here. He walks down into some space. Technical difficulties there.
What are you thinking here, Craig?
So got the puck kind of just driving down low, pulling up, trying to pull their players out of position, really. Obviously got to the goal line, didn't see any play behind the net. So my next thought is start kind of coming back up the ice and see if I can drag that D-man with me, which is what he does, and kind of pulls him out of their defensive position. And I think it's Arcee comes down.
Yeah, I think it's Arsenal that comes down now.
But it just puts some confusion into their defense and pulls them out of position and catches them flat-footed. And Arce is such a great skater there that he just blows by them. And as you'll see in a second here, his head is just waiting at the net in the right spot at the right time, and he makes no mistake.
And I think actually earlier in that game, Kieran had a chance when Dunny put one on his stick in the second period, and his stick went over rather than the puck going over his stick. He's went over the puck. Mm-hmm. So to be fair to Kieran, the first thing I said to him, and the only thing I said to him, was your stick has to be on the ice. There's the difference. He sticks on the ice.
Let me listen.
Yeah, he listens. That's the key, though. He listens. He's coachable.
He's having a great season so far, isn't he?
Yeah, like right now, he's embraced his role. Right, he knows what he's there to do. He goes, goals like that. He goes to the net. We're not asking him to beat 3, 4, 5 guys, but then obviously we kind of see this one. It's a couple of missed assignments.
Yeah,
probably just stop that there. But it's a couple of missed assignments. They win a draw. Without being critical of players at this stage, we can come inside. We should come inside into the shooting lane. We should tie up the 2 guys at the net. It's a bit of tiredness, a bit of a missed assignment. Curtis makes the first save again, which I thought he was great all night, great all weekend. But he should really only have to make that first one, and it's a rebound goal. But much like Saturday, the bench was the same. We're okay is the wording that was going on. We're okay. Nothing changes. We still have to, tie or better in that period. We still just talked about winning a period, but tie or better and you get the result you want. And from kind of this point on, that last 7 minutes, we ain't going to hide it. Like they were probably more offensive than us. We did have chances. We still looked to pick holes in them. But I thought for the first time this season, we just really stuck to our structure, and we did. We rolled our sleeves up and said, we are not losing this hockey game.
Even when they pulled the keeper and it was 6-on-5, from where I was commentating, it felt okay. It didn't feel like it was absolute panic. If we'd have taken a penalty, it would have been really bad. But we were okay in there. Is that how it felt on the ice, Craig?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they took a timeout, so it gives us a chance to reset as well. And then Martin and JT obviously speak to us, tell us how they want us to go out there and defend that situation. And I think we had quite a few face-offs as well, which was quite good in a way because it disrupted the play. It didn't let them get into any rhythm. But even when they kind of had possession of the puck, we kept them to the outside and didn't give them any opportunity to generate any offense. And like Martin said, I think maybe we even iced it potentially when the goalie was pulled. And they're the decisions that you make in hockey games that win and lose your hockey games. And we weren't afraid to take an ice in or to chip a puck out or to dump it in. It's not always going to be the prettiest of games.
A few blocks as well in that last minute.
Oh, absolutely. Guys are putting their body on the line and being in shooting lanes and doing what it takes to get the win. And sometimes that's hockey. Like hockey it's won and lost on mistakes. So if we can limit our mistakes, which we did this weekend, you're going to make them every night. You can't get away from that. It's going to happen, but it's about how you react. And I thought that, as a group, we dealt with every situation well this weekend. Like Martin said, we came out and got that first goal in the third period there. And from that point, I felt in control. There was no panic when it was 4-3. There was no worry. It's okay. We stick to the process. We stick to our system. We'll keep it simple. Yeah, we might be a little bit tired, so we'll just keep it simple. If we have to chip pucks out, we'll take icings. We'll do what we need to do. Because at the end of the day, as long as you get the 2 points, no one's going to ask how, just how many.
Absolutely. So successful weekend, really enjoyable weekend for I'm guessing for players, but hugely for fans as well who are watching this. Looking forward to this weekend coming. Same sort of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we've played Sheffield a few times now. Obviously, pre-season, we split that, lost at home, beat them away from home. Sheffield, it was the away home weekend that I think we all agree that the first night in Sheffield that last time we were not very good. And they've executed and we've not. The home game, we've just said it there, it was a mistake that cost us in a 1-goal game. So we need to find a way to turn that around. I think we're a different team for when we last played Sheffield. I've no doubt they'll be a different team. They're obviously going to be fitter and more made the adjustments around Huey's systems. But we go in here now, we've got to play with confidence and a swagger but without arrogance. And just continue to stick to our system, make sure that we take care of little details that we did over both games, and continue to be a little bit ruthless and a little bit relentless in what we've been doing. And then, we don't really look past that Saturday, but of course we go to Peterborough. It's the big homecoming for Craig. He goes home. I'm sure the building will be sold out for people wanting to see him. If not, they should be going to see him. But
there were plenty of tickets left in the away section when I booked mine the other day, so still space for Sharks fans to get themselves down there.
Both Sharks and Phantoms fans should come and see him. Yeah, but yeah, I mean it's a rink that it's tight. I know Slava really well, and they'll be very structured, and he's really diligent in the work he does with his team. And last weekend I think they scored 10 against Bristol. Then they followed that up with a home win against the Bees. So they come in the back of their own 4-point weekend. I think they're up to 4th now.
Yeah, they're looking good.
So they come in with confidence. Again, I suppose much like last weekend, the pleasing thing about last weekend is they were two top 4 teams for the last 5-6 years since this league's been going. And before, they were solid. I mean, Swindon are a top-end EPL team before that. Milton Keynes obviously had their chance both in the EPL, but then they went to the Elite League. Peterborough's the same. No, Sheffield's the same. They've been in playoff semi-finals. Sheffield won the playoffs a couple of years ago. They've been top 4, top 5 teams in this league. So it's another opportunity for us to show what we're all about, to show that last weekend was not just a flash in the pan. We've discussed this week, as Craig will tell you, from a player's point of view of, let's not win 2 and lose 4 or 5 again and then win 2 and lose 4 or 5. It's as players, they want to find their consistency, and as coaches, we want the same. So I've no doubt with a huge backing and the noise that we had last week, we bring that forward to this week, we'll be going in looking for the same result and same outcome.
I think that makes sense. And you're talking about playing Sheffield. I mean, when we were playing Sheffield before, the club felt like it was under a bit of pressure to get a result. That pressure's surely away, but you've kind of made the point, you can't go 4 points to 2. I mean, Wildcats had 4 points previous weekend and ended up with 0 last weekend. So from your perspective, Craig, you're moving forward with that. You're going back to Peterborough. Is there an extra special reason to win or to keep this momentum going or start to build a bit more momentum?
Yeah, I think obviously as a group and as a team, that's the challenge for us now, and that's what we've spoke about. We don't want to be, on a roller coaster all year of highs and lows and highs and lows. If we can maintain, like Martin said, if that's our minimum standard going forward, we're going to win a lot more games than we're going to lose. And as you can see in the league table right now, it's really tight, kind of from top to bottom in terms of those playoff spots, and that's what we're aiming for, which is why when we're in a game like that against Swindon, we don't want it to go to overtime, so we don't want to give them a point. We'd rather just walk away with 2 and they leave with nothing. So as a player and as a team and as a group, it's just important that we carry these standards in. We're not under any illusions that we're going to go and win out all our games for the rest of the season. There's going to be games that we drop here and there, but if we're playing to the standard that we played at this weekend, you might be able to accept that, and you're going to know that the next night you're going to bounce back. But it's too hard as a player to kind of go from 2 wins like Martin said and then 4 or 5 losses, because it's tough to dig yourself out of those holes. So we don't want to be falling back into those holes now. We want to kind of stay above ground here and set that as our minimum standard and challenge ourselves as a group to bring that every weekend. And if we do that and we're honest with ourselves, we'll see ourselves win a lot more than we'll lose, and hopefully find ourselves in a good position come the end of the year.
Yeah, I think that makes absolute sense to me. And kind of you've said to me many a time, Martin, about winning becoming a habit. We can go on a wee run now. It would do us the world of good, wouldn't it?
Well, in my head, personally, and obviously in the coaching capacity, I think we've got 7 games till I go on international duty. Now, realistically, I think we can win all 7. It's a bit of target, it's a bit of pressure. You probably, without being a bit down on it, you'd maybe say if we take 5 out of 7. But we've got to look at that and say that there's 7 games here. As Craig's just said, that league is tight right now. And some of these games, we've not seen Bristol yet. One of the games is 2 against Bristol, so they are also cup points. Just looked at the cup table earlier, and again, really tight. But we've got cup games to play. So there's also still a possibility to squeak in there and maybe find ourselves in a cup semi-final. So ultimately, it is winning's a habit. It's a really good habit. I think for the first time this season, the kind of old analogy that we've used in the past of good teams find a way was certainly true, and certainly true of both nights, because, as we say, 10 minutes to go, we're down, 15 seconds to go, we find a way and we seal it. We hang. Some people say we hang on, but we do in a way, but comfortably enough. We also kill a penalty, as we've said earlier in the show, with 4 minutes to go in that Milton Keynes game. So we found a way on both nights. Now we just really have to kick on, right? We got to kick on. It is mentally tough, as we've both said, of win a couple, lose, get in a slump, win a couple. Nobody wants to be there. We know we're a good team. We know, the whole summer, Craig and I were on the phone constantly to each other, sharing videos, speaking to agents. We know better than anybody, the two of us, what we've built here and what we're trying to build here. And when they play like they did last weekend, we can sit opposite each other on the bus with a little smug look on our face, kind of saying, yep, we're right. The challenge now is to this whole organisation now is just to keep getting better and moving forward. The fans will enjoy it, the players will enjoy it, the coaches will enjoy it, and our whole support group will enjoy it. And, we've got to really start this weekend and saying that we can prove we can go on a run as opposed to playing these peaks and troughs. And I've no doubt that we can do that.
Perfect. Wise words, Mr. Grubb. Final words to you both before we end the podcast. It's the usual message to fans. Craig, if I start with you yourself.
Yeah, if we can bring what we brought on Sunday night there and those noise levels and that support for the boys, we'll do our best to keep bringing you those performances and giving you something to cheer about. But it's, as a player, we're just so thankful for the support that you guys give us. And like say Sunday, the noise level was just incredible. So if we can bring that every week and even bring some more people along with you, and we'll get as many people packed out into the Shark Tank as we can. The atmosphere is only going to keep getting better, and hopefully results follow that, and the boys really appreciate it.
Thank you, Craig. Martin, final word.
Yeah, I agree with everything Craig said. And I'm still going to preach the patience that I have been. Stay patient. Trust this team. We're playing for you guys as much as we're playing for ourselves. And with everybody sticking together, we're going to continue to achieve our goals. and then we're going to continue to be able to be successful. And success is exactly what we're looking for. Your noise, your loyalty, and your genuine love for this club is shining through even more than it ever has. So we appreciate that. We're trying to do it for you and ourselves, and we'll go back to work Saturday, Sunday, and try and get that 4-point weekend.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate you spending some time chatting with me today, and also can I thank you for an absolutely brilliant week that our Sharks fans have had. We had a fantastic weekend, and we've been walking on cloud nine this week. So thank you for all you guys done, and we totally appreciate it. And we totally appreciate you watching us on the podcast. No Coach's Corner next week. We're going to be recording something a little bit special, but more on that later on. But thank you so much for watching, and thanks to Martin and Craig.
Thanks,
Andy.
Take care, folks. We'll speak to you soon.